right, this is going to be great because, we do this thing called It's Your Business. And one of the things that businesses go back and forth on are budgets and what they spend for advertising and what is advertising and what do they need to do to reach the masses or reach just locally or globally or wherever it is they're trying to reach, and depending on what the product is. Rod Collins joins us on this segment, and he's got a really cool, out-of-the-box marketing company. It's a Billboard and Cube trucks. I'm going to let him explain, but the business is really taking off. So now you're taking innovation, people's needs, and marrying them together is exactly what we talk about when we talk about entrepreneurs and people thinking of innovative ways to get noticed. And a lot of his clients are doing just that. Rod, thanks for popping on America Tonight. And your company is called Bulldog Billboards. I love the name. Is it because it's like Bulldog advertising? Is that how you came up with it?
Well, I think it was appropriate. First of all, I have a bulldog, Bacon the Bulldog, and he is the proud mascot in the logo, and he's featured on the shirt I'm wearing right now. But and we are often thought of our form of advertising, I would say, and the way the company is run is as much like a bulldog in that we do whatever it takes to get what it is that we're trying to accomplish.
So how did you come up with first of all, explain the concept to everybody, the Cube trucks, the Billboard and the Cube trucks?
Well, it's funny that you're using the word cube. I invented the advertising display cube after I had executed something like 275 mobile advertising vehicle campaigns. And those campaigns I had executed were using a glass-walled concept truck. And that's a box truck that has glass walls, so you can either see the scene that we built out inside of the vehicle, or you can see the billboards that we put up inside the glass walls, and it's lighted and all that sort of thing. So the concept trucks are used one of two ways. And we also have the classic oversized static billboard truck, which is just a vehicle with two giant vinyl billboards on the truck. And then after about 275 of these campaigns, I was in New York City. Probably 35 to 40% of my business is in New York City. And I was literally driving one of the vehicles back after a campaign. We were on a reality television show, and we were used as a makeover studio. And I was thinking, the agency that keeps hiring me over and over, one of them anyway, they didn't care that it was a truck, but they liked the glass walls, the transparency that's provided with the glass walls. If you would just for a moment think of a family of four standing on a New York street, and if you were to come up to them and say, hey, can your wife and daughters go inside that truck? We have a program going. If it was just a box truck, there's no way they would allow the kids or the wife or anyone of the family to go in that truck. But since there's glass walls, instead, the reaction is completely turned around, and the reaction is, hey, what is Nike doing today? What's going on in there? And we've had all kinds of campaigns inside the vehicles with the glass walls that enable people to see what's going on inside. So the advertising display cube is a larger vehicle with more glass walls and has all the bells and whistles that I wished that I'd had in the beginning of the company. And so things like storage and different entrances and an onboard generator and HVAC for climate control and all those kinds of things that I wished I had, I put into the advertising display cube. And now since I use that word, people are saying cube truck. And I want one of those. You are clearly not the first person that I've heard say, I want one of those cube trucks. And it's just it's fun for me to see that word cube is taking off.
And it's all kinds of different, companies, obviously, that you've worked with, from bigger ones to smaller ones. What are the, and obviously this is a layup question to ask you, but I'm curious because I know you're going to be honest with me. What's the reaction been? And I bet it's been pretty powerful because as you said, you're attracting people. So that's the idea when it's like billboards. How do you get people attracted and looking and thinking about whatever the message is? So if somebody has the clever message, you're hooking them in because of the cube truck partially, right? Because they're like, wow, that's so cool, and they can't help but look at it.
Well, it's a mobile vehicle, so it's a little bit shocking. We are one of those few forms of advertising that you can't turn us off or change the station or crumple us up and throw us away. And we hope that people are opening their eyes when they're driving down the road, and that typically happens. And in fact, one of the beautiful things is, and I know here in Dallas, the statistics report that there's 1.3 people in each vehicle, and that means often there are 2 people in a vehicle, and if they see an advertisement on a vehicle like mine, it just begs the question, hey, have you tried Joe's Pizza? And now there's some word of mouth going, no, I haven't tried it. Let's try that pizza, that sort of thing. So we're driving down the street or strategically parked somewhere, and it's almost like a surprise to the public as they walk or drive by and see something. I think a lot of times billboards that are 100 feet in the air and 100 feet from the road kind of blend in. I think even maybe the advertising on buses might blend in a bit. It's almost as if it's supposed to be there. And we're a surprise to the eyes.
If somebody, you have a client, and as I said, I'm sure for all different walks of life, somebody wants to do it, who's driving the truck? Do you have drivers, or do they do that themselves, or how does that work?
No, I have a staff. I have a staff that drives my fleet of vehicles, and we're all over the country. Actually, we're experienced throughout the United States, coast to coast, and in Canada, and we've been coast to coast in Canada as well with campaigns.
Yeah. And I know this is a tough question too, but to you, what's been one of the more interesting campaigns that you've done that you really just took off?
Well, I guess the answer to that, who's your most favorite child? The answer is the one you've been with most recently. And we just yesterday or on Friday, we just finished a campaign for TxDOT, and it's a Don't Drink and Drive campaign, and it's called Know When to Pass, and what they're asking you to pass are the keys when you've had too many. And we've targeted college football the last 3 years, and we've gone all over the state of Texas to encourage folks not celebrate their team, but to make sure they pass the keys off to someone who hasn't over-imbibed. And we have the vehicle set up with a scene built out inside, and the scene is essentially a room with a couch, and there's 2D cutouts of people in full color, so it looks like real people in there, and there's a television, and they're all cheering, and there's beer cans and bottles that are on pizza boxes, and they're glued on there because we've traveled the entire state of Texas. And then on the outside, we have these football players that stand on their own. They're oversized, beautiful, big football players in their uniforms, and they've got menacing looks, and one is asking you to give the keys over. And the advertising part of this is that we set up where there's heavy pedestrian traffic towards the football stadiums. And we've been in Austin, and we've been in Lubbock, and we've been all over the state, and been to giant football games when there's lots and lots of people that are partying and going to football games. And they get the message, and one of the things that happens is they stop by and they're photographed in front of the vehicle, and some of them are handing their keys to the football player, some of them are doing silly things, and we've had all kinds of props and that sort of thing. And then they're encouraged to like the picture on Facebook. We've had thousands of pictures liked by and tagged by thousands of people on Facebook, and we've also been to television stations all over the state of Texas in the last month on the media days before the football game. It's been funny. When I've been around, I've literally had hundreds of people saying as they're walking to the stadium, hey, I saw you on Channel 7, hey, I saw you on Channel 11, whatever it was in whatever city we were in. And I've literally had a desk clerk at a hotel tell me the story that she watched the news and saw the feature on the truck and told her mother, that truck stays at my hotel. So it's just been, that's my most recent campaign, so that's why I tell you that one.
So when this first happened, when you first came up with this concept, and then you slowly started to develop it, and you started to see that you had a home run and it was taking off, did you, when you were putting this together, the initial stages, what I always tell people who are entrepreneurs, did you just know, hey, this is a great idea. I just got to stick with it. I got to put the pedal to the metal, and I got to figure out how to do this. But I know that this is going to be a home run.
It took a lot of persistence, and I can't tell you that the business model didn't change. Originally, I was looking at franchises to buy. And I'm an old hotel sales and marketing fellow, right? And I think that I have a lot of the skill sets that are required to run this sort of business. But I started by, instead of buying a franchise of some sort, I bought my first vehicle, and it was a scrolling mobile billboard truck, and it had the glass walls. And originally, I was going to make my living selling advertisements just on billboards that scroll inside the vehicle. And pretty soon into the deal, probably 6 months inside of the history of Bulldog Mobile Billboards, I started selling dedicated campaigns to one company at a time, and I realized that that was a much better business model, that the client would receive more bang for their buck than sharing billboards that were scrolling up and down. And I think on occasion there's use for the scrolling mobile billboard trucks, but for the most part, I prefer to sell campaigns and activate campaigns for one customer at a time, for not just the reason that they are exclusive, but also that now I can say, you tell me where you would like us to be. When and where would you like the vehicle to be, as opposed to me trying to tell the client, multiple clients, this is our route and this is what we're going to drive. We've decided this is the best route.
Yeah, boy, that makes sense. Interesting stuff, definitely. Rod Collins, Bulldog Billboards. You can check it out, Bulldog Billboards. Easy for me to say. Say that 10 times.com, and you get a real sense of what he's talking about. You've probably seen the trucks, for goodness sake. Rod, thanks so much.